Imagine having an unexpected meet and greet with the local wildlife. While most wild animals prefer to keep their distance from humans, viewing us perhaps as odd creatures best avoided, there are times when they might consider us too close for comfort. Whether out of fear, illness, a maternal instinct to protect their offspring, or a simple misunderstanding of property lines, these animals could turn a peaceful encounter into a less than pleasant experience. Despite the rarity of such attacks, our seemingly innocuous actions can either invite trouble or keep it at bay. Here are the 5 most disturbing animal attacks at Kruger National Park. The dawn chorus of Kruger National Park was in full swing as Rudy Lorist, a seasoned trail ranger known for his deep respect for the African wilderness, prepared to lead a group of 8 tourists on a bushwalk that promised to be the highlight of their visit. At 32, Rudy had spent almost a quarter of his life walking the trails of Kruger, each step deepening his understanding and appreciation of this vast, untamed landscape. The group, a mix of avid nature lovers and adventurous souls, gathered around Rudy, hanging on his every word as he outlined the day's journey. With Philip Gumedi, his reliable assistant at his side, Rudy felt a familiar thrill. This was more than a job, it was his calling. As they set off, the park unveiled its morning treasures, a giraffe peering down curiously at the group, a herd of impala gracefully bounding away, and a myriad of birds adding a symphony of sounds to the crisp morning air. Rudy's eyes sparkled with the joy of sharing these moments. His enthusiasm was infectious. The tranquility of the morning was abruptly pierced by the sound of rustling in the bush. Rudy's instincts kicked in, signaling him to halt the group with a raised hand. Silence fell, a tension-filled silence that made even the air seem heavy. Emerging from the thicket was a lioness, her gaze fixed on the group, her body language not of curiosity, but of warning. Rudy's heart skipped a beat. Not from fear, but from the responsibility he felt for his group's safety. The lioness was not alone. Her cubs played in the background, oblivious to the standoff. Rudy knew they had to retreat to give this majestic creature the space she demanded. He whispered instructions, his voice calm but firm, as he and Philip began to guide the group backward, every step measured, every breath held. But the lioness advanced, her movements deliberate, her eyes never leaving Rudy. In a decisive moment, Rudy fired 2 warning shots into the air, hoping to deter her. The group watched in frozen anticipation, but the lioness, perhaps propelled by the instinct to protect her young, charged. Rudy's training had prepared him for this moment, yet nothing could truly prepare a person for the raw power of a lioness in full charge. He stood his ground, the protector of his group, as the lioness closed in. The world seemed to slow down, every detail magnified, a testament to the human brain's capacity to sharpen focus when faced with imminent danger. The lioness pounced, her powerful body colliding with Rudy's. He felt the weight of her, the heat of her breath, and the ferocity of her being. She bit down on his forearms, the pain sharp but distant as adrenaline coursed through his veins. Rudy fought back, not with anger, but with a desperate will to survive, to ensure the safety of the tourists who trusted him. The struggle was intense, a whirlwind of dust, roars, and shouts. Then, as suddenly as it began, the lioness released Rudy, retreating back to her cubs. The group, led by Philip, had maintained a safe distance, their eyes wide with shock and awe. Rudy was bleeding but alive, and was immediately tended to by a tourist who happened to be a doctor. First aid was administered as a temporary balm to the wounds that ran deeper than flesh. The park's medical team arrived swiftly, airlifting Rudy to Nelspruit Mediclinic, where he would spend days recovering, both physically and mentally. In the days that followed, Rudy reflected on the encounter, not with bitterness, but with a renewed sense of awe for the wilderness he called home. The lioness, in her display of maternal fierceness, had taught him a lesson in respect, a respect for the wild, for its inhabitants, and for the delicate balance that allowed humans and animals to coexist in this vast, untamed landscape. Rudy's recovery was not just physical, it was a journey that deepened his connection to the park, reinforcing his commitment to conservation and education. The encounter, while a testament to his bravery, served as a poignant reminder of the park's wild nature, a reminder that would guide him in his continued efforts to bridge the gap between humanity and the wild. In the expansive wilderness of South Africa's Kruger National Park, a heart-wrenching tragedy unfolded that would leave a family shattered and a community in mourning. The serene beauty of this vast reserve, known for its majestic wildlife and breathtaking landscapes, was the backdrop to a horrifying incident that claimed the life of a young boy, barely 2 years old. Courtney UNTAMED, the son of Isaiah UNTAMED, a technician employed within the park, was the victim of a rare but fatal attack by a leopard. The events leading to this tragic outcome began innocently enough, with the family enjoying the comforts of their bungalow located within the staff quarters of the park. As darkness enveloped the park around 8 p.m., a time when the wild's nocturnal inhabitants awakened, the unimaginable happened. Isaiah, having stepped inside their residence momentarily, was oblivious to the imminent danger lurking in the shadows. Courtney, following his father with the innocent curiosity of a toddler, became the target of a stealthy predator. The leopard, seizing the opportunity, launched an attack from the darkness, its powerful jaws clamping down on the unsuspecting child. The father's return to the outdoors was prompted by a chilling scream, a sound no parent ever wishes to hear. The sight that met Isaiah's eyes was one of pure horror. His beloved son, held captive in the jaws of the leopard, being dragged toward the perimeter fence. Fueled by desperation and terror, Isaiah's scream startled the leopard, causing it to drop Courtney and retreat to the safety of a nearby tree, from where it had initially descended. Despite the parents' frantic efforts to save their son, rushing him to Shangway Hospital in Mpumalanga, the severity of Courtney's injuries proved too great. The doctors could only confirm what the parents feared most. Courtney was pronounced dead upon arrival. The news of his passing sent shockwaves through the community, a tragic reminder of the precarious balance between humanity and the wild. In the wake of the attack, the Kruger National Park authorities took immediate action, tracking down the female leopard responsible for the attack. The decision was made to euthanize the animal, a measure deemed necessary to prevent future tragedies. This decision, while difficult, underscored the harsh realities of life near wild predators and the unpredictable nature of their interactions with humans. The investigation into the attack revealed that the leopard was in prime health, with no signs of injury or disease that might have explained its aggressive behavior. This detail only added to the mystery of the incident, raising questions about the factors that could drive a seemingly healthy animal to attack a human. The funeral for young Courtney was a somber affair, attended by many who knew the family, including fellow KNP Rangers. The community came together to mourn the loss of a life taken too soon, offering their support and condolences to the UNTAMED family. Isaiah, heartbroken and bereft, struggled to come to terms with the loss of his son, his grief compounded by the vivid memories of that fateful night. In the aftermath of the tragedy, the leadership of the South African national parks issued statements expressing their deep sympathy for the UNTAMED family and acknowledging the inherent risks faced by those living and working near wild animals. They reaffirmed their commitment to the conservation of wildlife, while also recognizing the need for increased vigilance and safety measures to protect park staff and their families. The incident highlighted the unpredictable nature of wild animals, even those that may appear habituated to human presence, and the tragic consequences that can arise from this coexistence. As the Kruger National Park community mourned the loss of Courtney UNTAMED, they were reminded of the fragility of life in the shadow of the wild. The tragedy served as a poignant call to action, prompting discussions on how to better safeguard those who live within the boundaries of the park, ensuring that such a heartbreaking incident would not be repeated. The memory of Courtney, a young life lost too soon, would linger in the hearts of all who knew him, a somber testament to the unpredictable and often perilous interface between humans and the natural world they seek to preserve. In the heart of South Africa's Kruger National Park, a place where wild beauty meets the thrill of adventure, the von Rensburg family embarked on what was meant to be a memorable camping trip. Amid the sprawling savannas and the echoing calls of the wild, 15-year-old Erko Janse von Rensburg found himself in the clutches of a nightmare far removed from the peaceful slumber he had expected under the starlit sky. Erko, a boy from Centurion near Pretoria, had chosen to spend the night in a separate tent, a mere annex to the trailer where his parents Erno and Cassandra and his two sisters lay sleeping, oblivious to the impending horror. The campsite, nestled within the confines of the Crocodile Bridge camp, was supposed to be a safe haven, a secure enclosure amidst the untamed wilderness. Yet fate had other plans, as a silent predator lurked in the shadows, eyeing its unsuspecting prey. The incident unfolded in the pre-dawn hours, a time when the night still clung to the earth with its cool, dark embrace. It was then that a hyena, a cunning scavenger drawn by the scent of human presence, exploited a gap in the camp's defenses, a breach possibly made by itself or an unwitting warthog. With stealthy silence, the beast approached Erko's tent, its intent as malicious as nature's raw survival instinct could dictate. The attack was sudden and vicious. The hyena, with jaws as powerful as the legendary great white shark, clamped down on Erko's face, the crushing sound of bones eerily reminiscent of crisps being trampled underfoot. Dragged from the safety of his tent, Erko was pulled across the ground, his pajama top serving as an unwilling leash for his assailant. It was a scene straight out of a horror story, played out under the indifferent gaze of the moon. Miraculously, the commotion awakened Johan, Erko's uncle, who was camping nearby. The sight that greeted him was one of sheer terror. Erko, his nephew, being mauled by a hyena, an image that would haunt the bravest of souls. With adrenaline fueling his actions, Johan did the unthinkable. He chased the hyena away, a move as daring as it was desperate. Erko's ordeal was far from over, though. Conscious throughout the attack, he was a first-hand witness to his own survival story, one that would be told with a mixture of awe and disbelief. The boy was swiftly rushed to the hospital, where he underwent several grueling surgeries to reconstruct his mutilated face. The operations, intricate and delicate, spanned hours, with surgeons working tirelessly to mend the physical scars of that fateful night. Back at Kruger National Park, the incident sent shockwaves through the community of rangers and visitors alike. The breach in the camp's security was promptly addressed, but the elusive hyena remained at large, a reminder of the wild's unpredictable nature. Park officials, while expressing regret, urged campers to adhere to safety guidelines, a plea underscored by the grim realization that the line between humans and wildlife is both delicate and fraught with danger. Hyenas, who were often seen as scavengers of the savanna, had grown bold, their nocturnal ventures into campsites becoming increasingly common. Attracted by the remnants of campfires and the lure of easy meals, these creatures had lost their wariness of humans, a shift in behavior that posed a significant risk to all who ventured into their domain. The incident with Erko was a stark reminder of this evolving dynamic, a narrative punctuated by calls for vigilance and respect for the wild's untamed inhabitants. As Erko lay recovering in the intensive care unit, unable to speak but alive against the odds, his family rallied around him. The trauma of the attack left its mark, not just on Erko, but on all who loved him. His parents, his sisters, and especially Johan, who had played the role of an unlikely hero in the darkest hour, were united in their relief and their resolve to overcome the ordeal. The attack on Erko von Rensburg at Kruger National Park serves as a harrowing tale of survival, a stark reminder of the wild's unforgiving nature. Yet amidst the horror, there were glimmers of human resilience and bravery, a testament to the indomitable spirit that defines us in moments of crisis. As the von Rensburg family looked to the future, they did so with a renewed appreciation for life's fragility and the bonds that hold them together, forged stronger in the face of adversity. In the dense wilderness of Kruger National Park, nestled in the heart of South Africa, an ordinary Tuesday morning on December 20th, 2022, transformed into a life-altering event for 57-year-old ranger Joe Nkuna. Nkuna, a seasoned guardian of the park's vast biodiversity, was undertaking his routine patrol in the Pretorius Cup section along with his fellow rangers. The tranquility of the morning was shattered when a breeding herd of elephants emerged, crossing the road right before their eyes, a common yet always awe-inspiring sight within the confines of this natural sanctuary. However, peace quickly turned to peril as the rangers maintained their distance, respecting the colossal creature's passage. One elephant broke away from the safety of its herd. With a suddenness that belied its massive frame, the elephant turned, its eyes locking onto Nkuna. Before he could react, the elephant charged with a speed and ferocity that belied its massive frame, a terrifying testament to the unpredictable nature of the wild. Nkuna's colleagues, witnessing the horror unfold, sprang into action. In a desperate bid to save their comrade, they fired a warning shot into the air. The sound, sharp and echoing, was enough to deter the elephant, sending it back into the bush from whence it came. The immediate danger was averted, and they quickly called for help, their training kicking in during this critical moment of need. The response was swift. A helicopter carrying a doctor and a support team cut through the sky, arriving on the scene with urgency. Nkuna by this time was in a dire state. The medical team worked feverishly to stabilize him before transporting him to the nearest hospital. The severity of his injuries was such that he was placed on life support in the intensive care unit at a private hospital in Johannesburg, marking the beginning of a long and arduous journey to recovery. Barbara Creasy, the Minister of Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment, took time to visit Nkuna in the hospital. During her visit, she found him to be in surprisingly good spirits, despite the gravity of his situation. Nkuna, with 32 years of service as a ranger under his belt, expressed an undiminished passion for his work and an eagerness to return to the bush, a testament to his resilience and dedication to conservation. Creasy commended his bravery and assured him of his vital place within the conservation family, highlighting the dangers rangers like Nkuna face daily in their efforts to protect South Africa's natural heritage. The attack underscored the inherent risks of working in close proximity to wild animals. Elephants, generally peaceful giants, can become aggressive under certain circumstances, such as the presence of calves or during the must period in males, when testosterone levels spike and behavior becomes unpredictable. This incident served as a stark reminder of the unpredictability of nature and the bravery of those who choose to protect it. Head Ranger Catherine Dreyer, reflecting on the incident, expressed relief that Nkuna was not fatally wounded. She acknowledged the daily dangers faced by field rangers and emphasized the importance of their work in safeguarding the park's wildlife and natural resources. The bush's density, particularly during certain times of the year, can make it challenging to see animals from a distance and react in time, further heightening the risks involved in their duty. The incident prompted a review of safety protocols for rangers on patrol, aiming to enhance their protection without compromising their essential work. The commitment of rangers like Nkuna and the quick response of his colleagues and the medical team highlight the dedication and courage that underpin conservation efforts in Kruger National Park. As Nkuna's story spread, it served not only as a cautionary tale, but also a source of inspiration. It reminded those within and beyond the conservation community of the sacrifices made by individuals like him, who face the dangers of the wild with an unwavering commitment to preserving the natural world for future generations. Nkuna's journey from a harrowing encounter to a hopeful recovery embodies the spirit of conservation, a relentless pursuit of protection and preservation against all odds. In the heart of South Africa's Kruger National Park, a renowned destination for wildlife enthusiasts, A British safari guide, 38-year-old Curtis Plum, found himself in a life-threatening encounter that would test his resolve and the quick thinking of those around him. Plum, an experienced guide with Nhongo safari tours, had been navigating the rugged terrains of the park since 2011, driven by a profound passion for the bush and its inhabitants. On a seemingly ordinary Thursday afternoon, under the watchful eyes of tourist Grant Ford and his teenage son, what began as a routine wildlife observation swiftly escalated into a harrowing ordeal. As Plum's vehicle, filled with eager tourists, came to a halt to admire a majestic leopard spotted in the underbrush, the tranquility of the moment was shattered. Without any forewarning, the leopard, embodying the unpredictability of the wild, launched an attack that no one saw coming. In an instant, the predator had clambered onto the safari truck, its sights set on Plum. The guide, clad in a bush jacket that offered scant protection, found his arm ensnared in the jaws of the leopard. Panic ensued as the occupants of the truck screamed, their safari adventure turning into a nightmare right before their eyes. The chaos that followed seemed like a scene from an action movie, albeit with an unwelcome dose of reality. Some of the tourists, in a desperate bid to save their guide, resorted to using their cameras as weapons, striking at the leopard. Meanwhile, witnesses in a Hyundai minivan, ahead of Plum's vehicle, made a bold move. They rammed the leopard with their car door, a testament to human ingenuity in moments of crisis. Despite their efforts, the leopard's grip remained unyielding. Plum, faced with a dire situation, managed to reverse the vehicle, a move that momentarily freed him from the leopard's clutches. However, the animal, undeterred, continued its pursuit. It charged after the vehicle, even leaping onto the bonnet in a relentless attempt to breach the safety of the truck. Plum, with no alternative, executed a maneuver that would injure the leopard, driving over its hind legs. The minivan joined in, driving over the animal, a collective effort to neutralize the threat. In the aftermath, park officials speculated that the leopard had been engaged in a conflict with another of its kind, as evidenced by its injuries. The encounter served as a stark reminder of the unpredictable nature of wildlife and the inherent risks involved in safari tours. Plum, who had ventured from the UK to South Africa, motivated by his love for nature, found himself hospitalized, a stark outcome of his dedication to guiding tourists through the wonders of Kruger National Park. The incident, captured on camera, not only highlighted the dangers faced by safari guides, but also showcased the courage and quick thinking of tourists who rose to the occasion. Amidst the peril, there was a glimmer of humor in the absurdity of using cameras and car doors as tools of defense against the wild leopard. It was a testament to the unpredictable ways in which humans respond to danger, a story that, while fraught with tension, also captured the indomitable spirit of those who find themselves at the mercy of the wild.